Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 271 is here. This is the final chapter. Sukuna speaks to Mahito and we get a major revelation. We get a flashback of Yuji and Gojo during the 1 month skip, and we learn whether there will be a second part to Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, sit back, relax, and let's go through it all. The chapter's title is From Here On Out, and at the beginning, we get to the main cast with the side characters of the series, and we get this comment, strong and intelligent allies gathered together. We then pick up where we left things in the previous chapter. Yuji, Nobara, and Megumi conclude that someone is playing a prank on a cute couple, where he is making the girl see her partner in a deformed state. And considering the absence of any cursed seal or marking, the curse user must be nearby to use his cursed technique directly on the girl. After discussing multiple possibilities, they come up with a decent plan. They send the couple to a skyscraper and ask them to take the elevator to the top floor, which would quickly get them out of the range of the curse user's technique. When the curse user reactivates his technique, they track his curse energy and try to neutralize him. However, the curse user activates his technique on Yuji and Nobara, which confuses them as the user tries to run away, but Megumi uses his Shikigami to capture him. They then ask the girl if she knows the prankster, but she says no, she's never seen this person before. But the stalker just flips out. He starts shouting and insulting the girl. Apparently the girl is a hostess and the stalker had a massive crush on her. He even bought her the bag she's holding. After that, Yuji talks to the curse user and tells him not to worry too much. It's not like they're going to execute him. And here we get a flashback that, in my opinion, does more damage to the story. The flashback is of Yuji and Gojo during the 1 month time skip. Yuji assumed he would switch training with Gojo after he was done with Kusakabe. However, Gojo replies with something that I consider out of character, and Gojo is too self-centered to say this, so I think here Gege is addressing us through Goho. He says, haven't we had enough of Satoru Gojo? I want you to be a bit more forward-thinking, Yuji. Sure, I want you to carry on my dream should anything happen to me, but if this is where I bow out, there'll be a point where you guys grow further than I ever did. I think there should be at least one among you who forgets about me and develops strength completely different from that of my own. I'm expecting great things from you, Yuji. Even Yuji is shocked to hear this from Gojo. However, Gojo says, this is confidence. Confidence I've never had before. And this is stupid. As I said, I don't mind Gojo's death, but this interaction makes it look like Gojo knew he would die. For context, Gojo was so excited to take on both Sukuna and Kenjaku moments after being unsealed. However, he is now talking about his legacy, which makes it seem he knew he was going to lose. Plus, it's been a year since Gojo's death, and I think most of us are over it by now. I would have preferred if we got a scene where all of Gojo's students are at his funeral and reflect on his impact on their lives. Anyway, Yuji tells the curse user to reflect on what he did, then come help them on their next mission. He adds that he expects great things from him, mirroring what Gojo said to him. Next, Megumi asks Yuji about the whereabouts of something, and I think Megumi is referring to Sukuna's last finger. Yuji says, don't sweat it, it's not dangerous anymore. It should make a perfect talisman. However, now we get to the interesting part of the chapter. We see Mahito and Sukuna talking in what it appears to be the cursed realm. Mahito says, who would have thought I'd see you here? My technique messes with the soul after all. Consider this a vestige. Welcome to the pathway souls walk on their way down the cycle. I meant to ask, you were lying, weren't you? You weren't living according to your own stature. You wanted revenge against those who resented and persecuted the cursed, unwanted little wretch. But Sukuna replies by saying, no, I had 2 paths I could have traversed, and Sukuna with 2 people behind him. On the left, we see who appears to be Yorozu, symbolizing that Sukuna could have chosen love and a happy life. On the right, we see Uraomu, which is the path Sukuna walked on. Sukuna adds that, should there be a next time, perhaps it would be nice to walk a different path. And we see Kid Uraomu crying. Mahito gets agitated and says, this is boring, you've gone soft. Sukuna replies by saying, obviously I lost after all. Mahito starts shouting, so I'm the only one left sulking like a child. And considering that Jujutsu Kaisen is heavily inspired by Buddhism, it's safe to assume that Sukuna is choosing to go north, contrary to Gojo's choice, and he'll be reborn and live a different life. The interesting thing here is it seems that Sukuna changed his mind after some reflection, because remember that just after Sukuna is separated from Megumi's body, Yuji offers him to coexist with and says even if no one else will accept you, I'll live with you, but is furious and says, don't underestimate me, I'm a curse. Another thing worth noting is that Mahito is waiting to come back. Don't forget that Mahito was very young when he died. I mean, he didn't even reach his full potential at the time of his death, meaning the cycle of war against cursed spirits won't end anytime soon. This is unfortunate. At the start of the series, we saw Geto and Yuki both trying to find a solution to cursed energy and cursed spirits. They were trying to end this cycle, and I'm sad that the series is ending without even addressing this problem. It makes the story seem incomplete, and while Gojo was able to guide a new strong generation of Jujutsu sorcerers, it looks like Yuki and Geto's dreams aren't even being addressed. Anyway, on the next page, we see our main cast continuing with their daily life and missions, and on the very last page, we go back to where everything started. Apparently, Yuji put Sukuna's finger in the same place where it was at the start of the series. However, it doesn't have any part of Sukuna's soul in it, so it's a simple talisman now. We get this editor's comment at the end. Thank you so much for reading these past 6 years. Please look forward to Gege Akutami's next work. Volume 29 and 30 will be released together on December 25th. So, this is how Jujutsu Kaisen ends, and we don't get any announcement about a second part of the series. Plus, I think Gege has had enough with Jujutsu Kaisen. I mean, if he wanted to continue working on the same series, he could have stretched the current events for years, considering that he didn't address multiple storylines and just went directly to the end. I mean, the Culling game isn't even officially over yet. Now, that Jujutsu Kaisen has ended, I don't know what to cover next, and I would appreciate any suggestions about the next series to cover or video ideas in the comment section below.